Sergeant America coming at you. Boom. Was going to record outside. That's why there's so much light. Because today's t-shirt weather, and tomorrow 3 to 6 inches of snow. So really should be soaking up as much sun as possible. I love South Dakota and the weather. But what's even more controversial than the weather? Civil War. So I got the Marvel hardcover Civil War edition. This one has I believe, 6 issues. But as you can see by the thickness, there's a little bit more. So just a real quick kind of run through. The writer, Mark Millar, and penciler, Steve McNiven. This one, it was Mark's idea that um, he had been kind of kicking around with, and then he got to one of Marvel's big get-together or discussions. They're looking at some kind of big event, and the big event was Civil War. What would happen to pit, good guys against good guys? And Millar's first idea was that it would just be a kid shot down in the street, and then everybody would clamor that they needed um, registration, and so he had always wanted to use Speedball as a catalyst, but he also wanted it to pretty much be down to Captain America and Iron Man. And so he thought that maybe if Happy's son was killed, that might be the godson of Tony, and that might set the whole thing off. And while discussing it with editors, he finds out that Happy does not have children, and to adopt or have a child just to be shot would be pretty crass. So I was glad that these discussions are in their minds. They mentioned that a lot of the things they do for for the ratings. It's not ratings. The buy shares of the books that Captain America, Iron Man get 40 to 50,000 issues. There's been other discussions on other sites on, is that just what the stores buy? Is that what actual people are buying? That almost never accounts for any digital. So outside of the idea, they wanted something that will pump up sales, bring in new people. They thought the Civil War would be the best thing to use on this. It was interesting to see them go through several times and discuss changes. So besides the actual comic in here, there is let me move that, a plot outline, which is the basic selling point. It's Mark Millar's selling point that he's trying to get through, kind of his snapshot within about 2 to 3 pages of what he thinks should be. Joe Quesada is also in here and gives kind of a commentary on characters and throws a lot of ideas out. And then Tom Beirut is also in here as the editor, who's going to have to edit all this. At the time, he's also editing several other books, and everybody knows that this is just one more that they're piling on him. So, I will give you a little idea. The glare is not too bad. Try to block out the light there. In fact, let me gooseneck my light down a little bit. See if this doesn't help out. Maybe a little bit. So, I have to say, the artwork sold me. It was, trying to get out of the glare. But I guess if you Google Steve McNiven, you'll see his work. You know what? In fact, I probably have gotten enough sunlight. Let's see. That's probably still going to be too much glare. But still, there was some, beautiful artwork in here that I've really enjoyed. You can see those covers, really pop and run. So, I'm a sucker whenever it comes to just decent artwork. The only reason I got into Secret Wars 2, I said I wasn't, then I saw the artwork and I did. So beyond that, as soon as you finish up the wonderful story that's in here, I believe it's 6 issues, Then there's some breakdowns. Oh, sorry, my computer started falling asleep there. Um, we get some breakdown pages of the book where it gives you artwork and then kind of description on, the gist of the thought there. There's also the script, and with the script, you'll see the dialogue, and then there's little excerpts from Mark and I think it was Mark and the editor, Tom Barut. So it was good to kind of get their idea on what they were going for, the changes. Mark Millar mentioned this had more changes than any other book he's done. And then at the end, you also just get additional, pencilings to show how it kind of went and some covers and all that. So, I mean, all that was nice. With Civil War, quite a bit of the take that they had was the idea of like gun registration. That all weapons should be regulated and known in America. Anybody who is 18 can purchase a rifle or shotgun. There is a 4-day waiting period on a handgun. And then depending on per state, you start getting into different rules on if they go to swap meet, neighbors can buy each other's guns. And like in South Dakota, I, as a citizen, can go into my sheriff's office, fill out all my information. They do a background check, and so long as I am not a felon and not actively, I know, and not even mental reasons even hold it back right now. So that would be the only thing that would stop me. Plus, I have to pay the $10 to $20 fee to have a carry and conceal. So then I'd be able to conceal a weapon in a jacket. If I just worked for a security company or as a citizen of the United States in South Dakota, I can open carry. So the old 6-shooter on the waist, shotgun strapped to my back, those are legal. Probably why a lot of people don't move to my state. But so the argument is there for registration. Registering guns was the original idea. Now those with superpowers. The way I originally was thinking of it before reading the hardcover of it was our idea of registering for the draft. Government service is not required in the United States. Almost all my friends are from the United States, but if there's anybody who hits this afterwards, this is why I'm kind of spelling it out. And the thought is at 18 we sign up for a theoretical draft if there ever was a draft because of a war so severe it needed additional soldiers. I could get called in for service. There's probably enough broken things on me that I would probably get a pass, but in times of trouble I could serve. And that was my original idea, was that all these people would work for the government. They would register if they could get consigned in. But the more Mark talked about Millar, the more he said he fought against it. But a lot of it is the politics that he believes. He admits to being very liberal, but he also admits to believing in the death penalty. So I mean, it shows that nobody is 100% anything. So now in the Civil War, we have the young group of young warriors, led by Speedball and many others, are in a reality TV show, fighting crime, being filmed, and having an awesome time. Until they come across a group of people that are a little beyond their class. And one of them ends up killing a very large group of children, and that starts the Civil War. Tony says that everybody should be registered. Cap says we do it outside of politics so that politics never interferes. And then people start choosing sides and start fighting over it. One of the many other things that are well known is Spider-Man Unmasked in this. That was done, I'm sure, for the shock value and to sell the books, which had to be later retconned in an ugly way, that some will say, by having a deal with the devil so that everybody forgets. So there were some big things that if it were to have stuck, it would have been very interesting. Of course, this interferes with everybody's book. But when you see the editor's idea on it, is this is the selling piece, and everybody else's book explains the backup thoughts for that character. So the Fantastic Four, why did they choose what they did? For even Cable, there was a small mention in Cable and Deadpool, I believe, at the time, why they chose what they chose, how they chose what they chose. And then even Spider-Man to get even more in depth into the agony of having to do the reveal. So, that's the tie-in part of it. And I thoroughly enjoyed Civil War. Obviously, the movie is not going to be this. Marvel doesn't own a huge chunk of these characters. When you consider the mutants, Fantastic Four, the Hulk is not in this, so they didn't have to worry about that. And at the time, Thor had died, and they kept talking that they wanted to bring Thor back in. You may have seen Thor. I always worry about how much to reveal and how much not to reveal. I'm going to talk about at least 3 points probably that will be spoilers. So if just jump to the end and do comments if you'd like. But they do bring spoiler 1 back. Thor. They don't actually bring Thor back because they have a huge reveal. His book is kicking off right after Civil War. So Tony has found hair follicles and skin follicles, uses that to clone a body around a android, and that is used for Tony in the registration side. Spoiler number 2 is that clone kills a character. The character is not a major character. They had a big discussion on that. They said if they killed a major character, everybody would say, "Ah, yes," and he will come back 6 months later. And so what they've done is they killed somebody who they built up in the book while it was going on, and that a lot of people maybe who's followed for quite a while liked. And that was, Goliath. I'll just say that. I'll let you guys read more about him to find out if you don't know who he is. It was well done in here. Definitely continue to make a fission between registration, anti-registration. And, I mentioned the reveal of Peter Parker. Other points of notice was they were getting ready to do the 50 state initiative, and that would be a superhero team in every state. So there would be a group of 5 to 6 individuals, forming up a team and then defending and taking care of that state. And that would be another selling point for the registration. I read the Marvel Avengers Initiative, and I loved it. I loved it because it took young people and reformed criminals and D-listers, and because they needed, obviously, a group of 6 for every state, so 50. And you figure that they needed certain styles of people, so they brought just about everybody they could. And some of the teams were just awesome. I definitely recommend the series, The Initiative. It was very nice to see all of the variety that they could do. It showed the boot camp, that storyline, especially with the younger teams. For those people that like the Runaways, that like the beginning Avenger teams, not the Cap and all that, where they're really well known, but whenever they try and re-kick off a bunch of B-list people, that's the kind of things I like. I like an Avengers that can't fight Galacticus. They are more, anti-Hydra, the shield before the shield kind of thing. So, those are the kind of things that sold me on Civil War. I see that I'm tipping at about 15 minutes. I definitely don't want it to go much longer. I want to recommend this book. Can't wait for the movie to come out. My comic book store has bought out the first showing at 7 o'clock Thursday evening, and I purchased my ticket for it. I'll be there with my compadres, my wonderful geeky geeks, my nerdums. So it'll be awesome to see how that goes. Just enjoying life, enjoying the book. Look for it in your library, especially once the movie kicks out. I'm sure that we'll start seeing a lot of smaller trades. Maybe you'll find the hardcover. Um, I enjoyed it. I paid full price for it. I love this book. I'm normally cheap, worth every dollar of it. So hope you enjoy it. Hope you read it, and hope you comment and let me know what you think of the Civil War. So, Sergeant America, looking for the button. Catchphrase!